Ladies and gentlemen, our resource speaker on Mentee-mentoring collaboration and work accountability towards a sustainable project management, Dr. Caridad N. Barrameda. A virtual round of applause, please. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the talk of our speaker, Dr. Caridad Barrameda.
I would like to start on mentee relationship. First, I would compare the relationship between the mentor and mentee to a ballroom dance, the tango. Are you familiar with that dance? It's a classic dance that is danced on special occasions. And there, if you're familiar with the dance, you see what are the skills needed to do it perfectly. So there's the expression, it takes two to tango. It takes two to perfect the steps. It takes two to cooperate. It needs the active cooperation of two parties to be able to achieve the goal. And also as shown on the screen, it says that mentoring is a two-way street. The mentor gets wiser while mentoring, and the mentee gains knowledge through his or her mentor, according to Ms. Marisol Gonzalez. So here it shows us that both the mentor and mentee learn or profit from the experience. So we are starting the Rariman project with you. So a question, are you to embark on a mentor-mentee relationship? What are the expectations, roles, and responsibilities that will help shape mentor and mentee for success? So I will be presenting first what are the roles of mentors, the role of mentees, and the collaboration between the mentor and mentee in this mentor-mentee relationship. So every successful mentorship is built upon a strong mentor-mentee relationship. So that's the importance of knowing exactly what we to expect on us as mentors and later on as mentees. So what are the role of mentors? So first is to provide guidance and support to a mentee to help them develop professional and personal skills. For us in our project as mentors, it's important to develop the skills of our mentee in research, in publication, especially to those or for those who are just starting. We have to reinforce, as mentors, there's a need to reinforce their strengths in research and publication, and also in writing. A mentor is also considered as a coach. You provide constant feedback, share advice, and give insight into what they are doing or the project that they are doing. You also, as mentor, you also are there to provide information, update on the topic, but not expected to give answers. For you share your expertise as mentor, you provide your ideas, you share what you know, your own expertise, because in this relationship, the mentor is also assigned to a mentee who has you have the same line of specialization. So you expect as mentee, you expect this from your mentor. You provide, for example, different thoughts, different suggestions or alternatives, and then you have the mentee make a decision. We challenge them as mentor. We have to challenge the mentees, and this will help to facilitate learning. As coach also, there's a need to follow up discussion based on the last agreements, what were done or what were not done by the mentee. An important aspect also that should be considered is the support system. A mentor should keep your mentees motivated and focused from the beginning until the end of the mentor-mentee relationship. There is the tendency of the mentee to be overwhelmed at times when you give a lot of inputs, maybe suggestion or share a lot of your thoughts. that sometimes may be really overwhelming to your mentee. But you have to share your practices of successes in the relationship. We have to celebrate big and small wins. You have to show support when mentees face setbacks and consistently provide words of encouragement. And I think this is very important as the role of the mentor. And you see here on the screen that the mentor is also the alter ego of the mentee. An alter ego is a person who knows what the mentee knows about. Thus, the mentor is the number one kakampi of the mentees. And because you know your mentee, what they know about, what they're doing, so you feel also confident. You know where you are leading them to, and you know their strengths, their weaknesses as well. Pero talagang magkakampi kayo because you're the alter ego of your mentees. Now, what about the mentees? The mentees, you are responsible for driving the relationship. It's your responsibility to make contact with your mentor, create an agenda for each session, and come prepared to report on progress. So the mentee takes initiative to schedule meetings, meaning to know when should be the meeting, the time, the place, and the dates of meeting. And you have to provide the agenda. You're asking for this meeting because you know that you have something to discuss. You need to talk to your mentor. Therefore, you have to inform your mentor about that agenda. And the mentee should also create action plans for their short and long-term goals. For my experience as a mentor or in this mentor-mentee relationship, this is the first thing that I ask my mentee to do, to submit to me the planned targets or a calendar of targets for the whole mentoring. So targets from the beginning until you target the time to finish the project. So for everybody's knowledge, if a mentee is in a hurry to finish, the mentor is much more in a hurry to see you finish the project. So therefore, it's also important to maintain appointments, except times there are unavoidable circumstances where the appointments could not happen. Now, if cancellation is necessary, the mentee should provide as much advance notice as possible. As mentioned earlier also, that you have to be prepared. Coming to meetings, meaning you have read or prepared whatever was agreed upon prior to the appointment. For example, you were asked to do a research, then you have to research on the information that was asked of you as mentee. Now, if not understood, you have to clarify what is said. This should not be a reason for failing or hesitating to come for the next meeting simply because you were not able to do the assigned work, nor because you did not understand what was asked of you. You have also, as mentee, you have to be proactive, continue learning, find opportunities to learn even outside the mentee-mentor relationship. So even in moments of challenges, you have to continue learning. Now let's go to the mentor-mentee relationship where we uh, mention here now the importance of the collaboration. We have presented separately the main roles of the mentor and the mentee, and now how do they collaborate? Where do we expect the expression of taking two to tango? What we expect from both of them or together? So first here, you see the willingness to help each other succeed. So there should be a display, you have to display authentic excitement and eagerness to learn from each other. So how would you sustain that excitement, that enthusiasm, that eagerness to really learn from each other? Then there's also the need to give and receive feedback both ways. So in this giving of feedback, it may not always be a positive feedback, but at times it can be also negative or maybe unacceptable. But we have to allow for disagreements in this relationship. But both mentor and mentee are expected to treat each other in ways that are not hurtful or otherwise disrespectful. So there's the freedom to give on both sides, give and receive feedback. Now, what about actively listening and communicating? Yes, in a relationship, listening is very important. Listen and communicate not only with words, but also with your actions and behavior. It's easier, yeah, it's easier to listen, to understand when things are said, yeah, verbally. But in the relationship, both we have need to be sensitive to nonverbal communications. But this nonverbal communication, being sensitive to it, would happen only with this will not happen at the beginning of the mentor-mentee relationship, but in the process you will get to know those the meaning of those nonverbal gestures or actions, both the mentor and the mentee. Then there's a need to build a collaborative, respectful, honest, and trusting relationship. In any kind of relationship, even in simple or ordinary human relationship, we know how much these things are essential or important in the relationship. You know that you can only be bold in saying what you want to say for both the mentor and mentee when you feel that you are honest to each other and you really trust your relationship. Another is maintaining confidentiality. So while not all aspects of the mentor-mentee relationship are confidential, there are areas that have been identified by one or the other as being such must be respected. So this is also an agreement between the mentor and mentee to know which in the course of your exchanges, each one respects those things that should really be confidential, that it should not it should do not anything that happened during the consultation, for example, should just stay in that place and should not go out from the room because things are with the respect of this confidentiality. And then commitment. When things are clearly defined, like for example, like expectations, goals, set deadlines, and appropriate time frame, and important that it should be agreed upon by both the mentor and the mentee. This leads or encourages accountability and achieving the goals and objectives. So the need for this commitment in the mentor-mentee relationship from the beginning until the end of the relationship. Another thing that we have also to consider or we have to respect to know that mentoring is a unique relationship. So there is no such thing as a perfect mentor-mentee relationship, but its relationship is unique to the people involved. So how will we respect this unique relationship? So it should be free from stereotyping, meaning sometimes you have all these impressions that because this he or she comes from this school or that district, then he must be good or bright, or it can be the opposite. And sometimes this can also be obstacles in the relationship between the mentor and mentee. It should also be free from discrimination. So whoever comes for help as your mentee, give them the service or help they need, whoever they are. Sabi nga sa Tagalog, maging sino man sila, kung naibigay sa inyo para tulungan ninyo, yan ang ating responsibilidad. No, there should be no discrimination. Another is the prejudicial behavior. So what about this? We have to check on our prejudices as mentor or as mentees. Like for example, it can happen, and usually this happens at the beginning of the relationship. Some mentees are so scared of the mentor assigned to them because the mentor is terror, is strict, or mas grabe pa, sasabihin, mabangis yan. But you haven't even started the relationship. And as mentioned here, it's a unique relationship. Maybe these are real experiences when you saw the same mentor, how the relationship with another mentee, maybe it was not that good. So you were left to that impression. But you see, mentoring is a unique relationship. It may not be the same with it. Okay, so this is good to remember when we are into this mentor-mentee relationship. Now let me go to accountability. Well, as mentioned, as shown in the title, there's the word accountability. It would be good to differentiate or show the difference between responsibility and accountability. So it shows here accountability means taking ownership of the results that had been produced. So whatever happened in the whole project, then each one will have to take ownership of the results. But the responsibility focuses on the defined roles of the mentor and mentee. So given all those roles as mentor, as mentee, and then the collaboration between the mentor and mentee, we are all, both are responsible to really do what are these expected roles of you as mentor or as mentee. Whatever happened at the end of the project, here comes accountability. So no problem if the project was a success. Everybody maybe would claim ownership of it. But if it failed, there should be no pointing of a finger to whoever is accused to have caused the failure. As we said at the beginning, it takes two to tango. So everyone is accountable for the result. So what about sustainable project management? Sustainability is one of the most important challenges of a project. So you see, sometimes we think of, there was a problem with sustainability because the project started full of enthusiasm, everybody is passionate about it, but we have a certain cultural weakness also that may enter into the relationship, which is the ningas pogon. We are all there at the beginning, but how would we be able to sustain that? And that's a big challenge until the end of a project. So just a brief understanding of what sustainable project management is, then it is about planning, monitoring, and controlling of project delivery and support processes. And this is aimed at realizing benefits for stakeholders and performed in a transparent, fair, and ethical way that includes proactive stakeholder participation. This is according to Silvius and Chipper in 2014. Now, for us in our project now, in our extension project, we want the Rariment project to succeed and sustain. So how do we do it? This 3-day webinar, though just a beginning, prepares you to become peer reviewers or readers in the Rariment project. From day one, you are given inputs on research, manuscript preparation, and publication. And yesterday, you learned about technical concepts for analysis and literature review through Max QDA. And today, or tonight, we have this sharing of another important element, especially it has to do with the sustainability of the project. specifically the mentor-mentee relationships. So all these are important knowledge and skills that attempt to equip you, to prepare you as peer reviewers and readers. So these are then important inputs as we face the challenge of sustainability of our RERIMEN project. The success and sustainability of the project remain in the hands of our extension, CGSTER Extension Office, but your participation, your contribution would mean a lot. We count on your commitment. Commitment, your commitment, our commitment to sustainability. As Dr. Heidi Makahilig, our associate dean, mentioned at the beginning, this should be sustained all throughout the program until the program has already reached its finish or its end. Now, that's my last slide for you. Are you up to the challenge? We hope for a positive response. Thank you.